Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, as two children are slain in this constituency days apart, House Speaker Halson Moultrie makes a call for capital punishment to be enforced. This as the National Security Minister says crime is down. Plus, an environmentalist voicing strong objection to oil drilling in the Bahamas.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thank you for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Top news tonight, following the killings of two children in his constituency within a week, House Speaker Halson Moultrie is calling for capital punishment to be carried out. The Nassau Village Member of Parliament said criminals should understand that if they take a life, they will lose theirs as well.
Capital punishment should be enforced. That's my position on it.
The Bahamas has not carried out capital punishment in more than 20 years. The last hanging was that of David Mitchell in January 2000. A series of rulings by the Privy Council in the UK have made it difficult for the Bahamas to meet the standard for capital punishment, calling the mandatory death sentence unconstitutional. But with the recent murders of two children in Nassau Village just 7 days apart, the area's MP said it's time for the Bahamas to stop dancing around the issue of capital punishment.
I believe that if the laws are on the books, they should be enforced. Now, I believe that everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty, and they should be given the opportunity to exhaust all of their legal options and all of their appeals. But when they have exhausted all of those appeals, if the verdict remains guilty of murder, they should be put to death.
In 2011, the Privy Council ruled that the death penalty could only be handed down for the worst of the worst murders. Last year, the prosecution withdrew its appeal, seeking a higher sentence for Kofi Goodman, who was sentenced to 55 years in prison for the murder of 11-year-old Marco Archer. The young boy was kidnapped and killed and his naked body dumped in bushes.
The Privy Council will justify and try to put different levels on the severity of the crime, as if someone's death is or life is less valuable than the other, based on the seriousness of the criminal event. I don't support that at all.
In 2016, when he was opposition leader, Dr. Hubert Minnis said that the necks of, quote, murderous scumbags must be popped, as he criticized the Christie administration for failing to carry out capital punishment. Minnis also vowed that if elected prime minister, he would hold a referendum on the death penalty as soon as possible. That, of course, has not happened, and the Attorney General indicated months ago that there will be no referenda late in the term. Moultrie said a message has to be sent loud and clear.
If you take someone's life, you should be and understand that your life will be taken. That's my position on it.
While the father of the 8-year-old girl who was murdered along with her mother at their Nassau Village home on Monday is heartbroken over the tragic loss of his daughter. He questioned how could anyone take the life of a child. Bertha McDermott has the story.
One day after his daughter was brutally killed in a double homicide, Edward Wallace says this will be a tough blow for his family, adding that his 8-year-old daughter will be missed.
That's a hard blow because I would never think that somebody would actually intentionally do this to a child, an 8-year-old. Like, she don't have no say, she ain't even see half or not a quarter of her life yet. And for you to do this to a child, it was very heartbroken to me.
Wallace said it was a terrible feeling getting the dreadful call that his daughter, 8-year-old Ednique Wallace, was found with gunshot wounds to the neck. He described the eldest of his 3 children as loving and nice. Speaking with Our News at his home, the heartbroken father recalled the last conversation he had with his daughter before her young life was cut tragically short.
I spoke to her that night. That night I actually spoke to her. She called me and she asked me to speak to her brother and her sister, which in they was in the tub, so I told her they in the tub. As soon as they came out, I had to let them call her back, and she told me, okay, bye daddy, I love you.
And that was the last conversation?
That's the last conversation I had with her.
Wallace also described Alicia Sawyer, Ednique's mother, as a loving mother who always took care of her 3 children. Police say they got the call shortly after 8 Monday morning of a shooting in Nassau Village. Police Press Liaison Officer ASP Audley Peter said the incident seemed to be domestic in nature. Police have since taken a suspect into custody in relation to the matter. The father of 3 says this brings his family a sense of closure.
Yes, I feel that way, but most likely is the fact that now proving it, that he is the person and he did do it. So I just pray that piece come to a close.
Wallace says his daughter usually lives with him, but was with her mother as he was in the process of moving. As for moving forward, Wallace says all he can do is pray and try to be strong for his family.
Well, I'm trying to be strong with my family and my other 2 kids. And the only thing I could do is pray and let God work.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Well, murder and armed robberies are down by double-digit percentages, according to National Security Minister Marvin Dames, who told reporters today that murders are down nearly 30%. Here's Jasmine Brown.
The National Security Minister says while those murder numbers are trending downwards, they're not exactly something to celebrate.
To date, homicides during the last statistics, I think homicide is down close to 30%.
Dame said murders are not the only category of serious crime that is down.
The armed robberies, again, they're down in double figures. And so a lot of our serious crimes continue to trend downward. And every year when we report, we reflect that.
While overall crime decreased by 7% in 2019, statistics released by police in January 2020 revealed that there was actually an increase in the number of murders and armed robberies last year. According to police statistics, there were 95 murders in 2019 compared to 91 in 2018, an increase of 4%. It remains unclear how much the 2020 crime figures have been impacted by restrictive measures that were put in place to curb the spread of COVID-19, which at some points included 24-hour curfews and weekend lockdowns. Still, Dames insisted that police are doing their jobs, adding that the fight is bigger than policing.
Significant progress is being made. We're not there yet. We have a tremendous amount of work to do. This is no short-term this is no short-term initiative or program. This is long-term, and but we're pleased with the progress that we have been making, and that we continue to make, and we'll see how it goes. But from all of the numbers and the statistics that we continue to compile, we are moving in the right direction.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, Dames described Monday's double murder of a mother and her 10-year-old daughter as horrid, as he noted that police have a man in custody in connection with the incident.
Every murder is senseless. It's senseless, And many of these people know each other. Many of these people know each other. We're all from the same communities or neighboring communities. What are we fighting over?
Police said the victims were shot to death early Monday morning as they lay in bed in their Nassau Village home. Investigators believe the double murder was a domestic matter. The incident came 1 week after a 7-year-old boy was killed when he was caught in the crossfire of a shooting in the same area.
These are our children. These are our children. And when you see that young children are getting caught up in the crosshairs of silly and petty foolishness between these young cowards, it saddens you. But we are determined. We are determined to do what we have to do.
In other news, a third member of Parliament has tested positive for COVID-19. House Speaker Halson Moutri says the parliamentarian tested positive last week and is currently in quarantine at home. It comes 2 weeks after an employee who came into contact with every MP who spoke during a House session earlier this month tested positive.
The last time we met was on the 23rd. Just after we met on the 23rd, by that Friday, I think, I got word that a third member had tested positive. And so that person is still in quarantine.
Opposition leader Philip Davis and Central and South Eleuthera MP Hank Johnson were the first two MPs to contract the virus. In addition to a third MP testing positive, a third member of the parliamentary staff team has also tested positive. Mutri said he had requested that all staff members be tested. However, there were some challenges. He said he's still awaiting resolution from the executive that would speak to House meetings being conducted virtually or a hybrid format.
So the action in terms of the resolution to give us the opportunity to sit virtually and for members to participate virtually, including debate and vote, would not be unique. We have a number of parliaments in the parliamentary, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association that have already taken steps, and they are using a hybrid system where some members are meeting in chambers and some members are participating virtually.
Officials from the Ministry of Public Works will be headed to Andros to investigate complaints of illegal structures on that island. Works Minister Desmond Bannister explained the issue outside Cabinet.
I understand that there are a number of structures in Andros. I am going to personally go to Andros and take a look at what's happening, and my ministry is going to formulate a plan as to how to deal with them. We are going to be relentless in ensuring that where illegal structures exist, those illegal structures will be taken down. I think all of you all are aware of the limitations we have within the Building Controls Act, and so there are certain things that we have to do.
The Public Works Minister's comments come a week after he revealed that the government has posted eviction notices on more than 50 structures recently erected in Abaco shantytowns. Bannister says they are looking to follow the same process in Andros. He added that they also have more work to do in Abaco.
We have to renew some notices in Abaco, and we are about to do that. Those notices are going to be renewed so to ensure that if anybody takes action in the courts, that we are going to be able, well within our rights to do it. So notwithstanding the fact that someone may break the law, we still have to act within the law when we are seeking to get rid of those structures.
More news on the way, but here's a first look at weather with meteorologist Greg Thompson. Good evening, Greg.
Thanks, Kyle. I'm meteorologist Greg Thompson with your first look at weather. Warm day around the islands. Temperatures managed to get up into the 90s once again. We're settling down into the mid-80s. 84 is our current temperature with mostly fair skies. The winds are out of the southeast at 5 knots. Feels like temperature around 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Satellite-wise, very lovely conditions around the islands. High pressure remaining in charge. Not much in terms of any cloud mass. A couple isolated showers and thunderstorms across the islands. Those showers will dissipate later on tonight. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Straight ahead, an environmentalist slams plans for exploratory oil drilling. Plus, NIB cracking down on fraud. That's coming up when Our News returns.
This is a huge deal. NFL Sunday Ticket is back, only with Rev Trio. All day football, all day Sunday. Enjoy all the benefits of Trio with a huge extra. Never miss a game with NFL Sunday Ticket, included in your Rev Trio bundle. All you have to do is opt in. TV, phone, and internet starting at just $99. Call 601-8992 to sign up now. Visit www.rev.bs/promotions for details.
You're watching Our News. Welcome back. Environment Minister Omar Ferreira's announcement that environmental clearances have been issued to Bahamas Petroleum Company for exploratory oil drilling is not sitting well with one environmentalist who called the move a slap in the face by a regressive government. Jillian Gray has more.
The news that the Bahamas Petroleum Company could be drilling for oil by December is a slap in the face, according to environmentalist Sam Duncombe, who called on the government to do better.
Now to hear that another company has been granted permission to go ahead after the minister told us straight up that the cabinet had decided that there would be no offshore drilling in the company is really just another slap in the face by this very regressive government. We need to do better.
On its website, the company said its drill ship would be in the Bahamas on December 15th and could begin drilling days later. Environment Minister Ramal Ferreira announced at a press conference last week that BPC was given clearance to begin. When asked why the plan was allowed to go through when he promised environmentalists that there would be no drilling, he said it was because BPC had an existing contract. Duncombe called that response disingenuous.
He knew it was an old contract when he told us that lie. That was straight up. The cabinet of the Bahamas has decided they are not going to be drilling for oil. So you can't tell me that one day and then the next day you're doing the complete opposite of what you've said. And as for BPC telling us that we're going to have oil for Christmas, I mean, that's like a nightmare.
Duncombe said the Bahamas does not have the expertise to deal with an oil spill. For those who believe the economic impact would be a major boost for the Bahamas, she said that oil will be shipped away to be refined and won't add much value to the economy.
Where is BPC going to sell this oil when oil was at $0 a barrel? There's a huge glut of oil across the globe, and we are now going ahead with oil drilling?
After suffering major losses due to Dorian and the COVID-19 pandemic, Duncombe said drilling for oil would be another devastating blow, calling the move catastrophic.
Even before the first drop of oil comes out of the ground, huge ships are taken to the area where they blast air guns at the seabed floor. That noise is so loud that it rips fish bladders, it tears coral polyps apart, it deafens whales and dolphins. God knows what else it does to everything else.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Amid an increase in unemployment payments by the National Insurance Board during the COVID-19 pandemic, NIB Minister Brensel Roll says NIB's fraud unit has been scrutinizing payouts in hopes of preventing more instances of fraud. Roll urged persons who receive checks that they do not qualify for to return them to NIB.
The reason why the fraud was caught is because there's a fraud unit at the NIB that is doing exactly that. It's looking at the benefits, looking at payments, and responding and talking to NIB and the director every single day of what is happening. Individuals ought to be warned that we are looking extensively and diligently at checks and payments that we're making to individuals, and those individuals who may have received checks that they don't qualify for should return them to NIB.
While he did not reference a specific case, Roll's comments come one day after 16 residents of Andros were accused of defrauding NIB. He also warned that NIB has been going after companies that collected money from their employees but made no payments to NIB.
Individuals who have collected monies from their employees and who have not provided the monies to NIB, we are actively engaged in not only calling out these companies, but encouraging them and to some degree forcing them and internally dealing with these matters at the moment.
Over on Grand Bahama, a dramatic moment outside of the magistrate's court after two women appeared on fraud-related charges. One of the women swatted the Our News cameraman away as she exited court and exclaimed, "Get this camera out of my face." She shouted obscenities as the police officer pulled her away and into a waiting vehicle. 38-year-old Wendy Fox in the red shirt and 51-year-old Renee Harvey appeared before Magistrate LaQuay Lang in the magistrate's court on the charges of possession of fraudulent documents, uttering a fraudulent document, and fraud by false pretenses. Both women pleaded not guilty. Bail was denied and they were both remanded. They returned to court on December 7th for trial. Still to come, Grand Bahama's urban renewal receives a much-needed donation. Stay tuned.
Catch Gunbay Kids on Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Gunbay Kids is a show about learning, interacting, and having fun. Gunbay Kids has made for kids by kids right here in the Bahamas.
Sit back, here we go, it's a Gunbay day.
Gunbay Kids!
Grand Bahama's Urban Renewal branch received a big donation from MSC Cruises yesterday. Pallets of food items and dry goods were dropped off at Freeport Harbor, where Urban Renewal Deputy Director Jasmine Darius was on hand to receive them.
We are happy for the donation, and it speaks to, the humanitarian effort of MSC and all of the other persons that are distributing and that are helping and donating in the different communities at this time. So I believe that the residents of Grand Bahama are extremely thankful, and people will be happy. A whole meal, a solid meal, a hot meal goes a long way.
Darius says the items will be distributed to all 5 urban renewal centers throughout Grand Bahama, where those in need will be able to access them. She said it's been rough for many residents since Hurricane Dorian, and she's sure they will appreciate the donation.
We have rice, you have meat, you have flour, and a lot of different water, pastry items to be distributed, and so we're really excited. I'm sure the residents are going to be extremely happy during this difficult time to have these donations, to help the families out.
Well, the COVID-19 pandemic has prompted Hands for Hunger to cancel Paradise Place, the nonprofit's largest fundraiser. However, Executive Director Keisha Ellis says with so many people directly impacted by the crisis, Hands for Hunger is in need of funding now more than ever.
Our numbers have increased drastically. From the start of the pandemic back in March, we immediately started assisting over 500 families directly through our digital voucher program. And with our work through the task force, we've increased those numbers up to 6,000. So, and everyone knows that Hands for Hunger, our work has existed before COVID-19.
In an effort to make up for the funds it would have made during the popular Paradise Place events, Hands for Hunger has launched its Each One Feed One matching challenge.
This is an opportunity for individuals to help us feed a family. So for a donation of $50, we can provide a box that's full of vegetables, meats, bread, really healthy food for a family of 4. And this box can feed a family of 4 for 1 week. So if you're able to, we encourage you to visit our website, handsforhunger.org, donate $50 in order to provide a box. And the great thing about donating now is that we have a generous sponsor that will match each donation up to $200,000. So we really have an opportunity to have a tremendous impact on the community right now if you're able to donate.
And that does it for this portion of news, but stay tuned. Sports is up next.
Catch Gunbay Kids on Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Gunbay Kids is a show about learning, interacting, and having fun. Gunbay Kids is made for kids, by kids, right here in the Bahamas.
Sit back, here we go, it's a Gunbay day.
Gunbay Kids!
The Monday Night Showdown becomes a Monday Night dud. Marcellus Hall has that.
So football action wrapping up as week 3 came to a close. Boy, what was supposed to be a great showdown between the Ravens and the Chiefs, not quite so much as we take a look. Monday night football action wrapping up week 3 last night, billed as a heavyweight showdown between the unbeaten Baltimore Ravens and the unbeaten Kansas City Chiefs. This one not quite living up to its billing. Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes with a dominating offensive performance as he threw for 385 yards and 4 touchdowns. You would add another rushing touchdown as well. Chiefs up big, 27-10 at the half. Ravens' biggest play, that would be a 93-yard kickoff return by Devin Duvernay. Other than that, Ravens would struggle a bit as defending regular season MVP Lamar Jackson held to just 97 yards passing and a touchdown. With the win, Chiefs remain unbeaten at 3-0. They have a game this week against the New England Patriots and Cam Newton. Ravens fall to 2-1. They travel to Washington this week. So we'll see what happens in week 4 as the Chiefs look to remain undefeated. And of course, the Ravens look to bounce back. Reporting for Our News, I'm Marcellus Hall.
And that's a look at news. We throw it back to meteorologist Greg Thompson for the extended weather forecast.
Thanks again, Kyle. Taking a second look at our weather around the islands. High pressure remains in charge via satellite. Nice Sunny conditions across the area. A couple isolated showers near the Long Island, the Acklands, and Crooked Island area. Frontal boundary across Florida. We expect that to get near sometime by Wednesday, Thursday, generating a couple isolated showers as it approaches. Your boating forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Southeast to south wind 10 to 15 knots. Seas running 2 to 4 feet. While up with the southeast Bahamas, a caution flag for you guys down there. East to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots. Seas running 4 to 6 feet over the ocean. Here's a look now at your national forecast. Here's a look now at your extended forecast through Sunday. That's a look at your weather. Have a terrific evening, everyone.
Thank you for joining us for Our News tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Kyle Joaquin. Remember, you can catch Our News on the go or the Go Play app. Have a good Tuesday evening, Bahamas.